we're going to be talking about Disney Plus, because it sounds like Ironheart is definitely moving forward now. And, like...
Yeah.
I guess good news, all things considered. Like, I mean, I'm kind of excited by it because I want to see what they can do with this. Like,
I'm just like, as long as they don't draw from what Bendis did in the beginning of his run, then it should be good.
I mean, they have to take something from Bendis' run, surely.
No, no.
I mean, I'm just meaning like the whole, like her building the suit in a dorm.
Yeah, I know that.
Take the actual origin of it. Like, don't take anything else.
Because like that's what I want is like because like his first depiction of Riri, like in the beginning, is kind of bad.
So it's kind of rough, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite thing that I've seen about this, the moment it was announced, because of course the hate had to start, right? Of course. Like, of course. I mean, that's what you expect. And my favorite thing I saw is somebody saying, so they expect us that a random person can just build a suit of armor out of nothing and be the next Iron Man? And the top replied comment with the most like was, you mean like Tony Stark?
Yeah.
It's like it's like it's not like there's not plenty of other geniuses of his level that could potentially make a suit,
right?
And also, isn't that what they want Peter Parker to do?
Right? Like,
yeah, Peter Parker did that a couple of times.
He also does that in the video game that everybody claims is the greatest thing since games were invented. So, I mean, look, Riri, I mean, we've known for a fact. Like, I've said I directly talked to somebody that directly was involved with a stage of this thing that they were doing. I can't say exactly what part. It's for a fact something Marvel Studios has wanted to do, and they're doing it. Like, I'm super excited. Honestly, I don't... Look, even if it's something I'm like, well, that's good enough, but it's not really for me. Again, that's why, like, not everything's for everybody. That's kind of like where I'm at.
Yeah, for people who want to know, I guess you could read when Riri took over in the Iron Man run for Bendis. You read that to see her origin, but if you want like a better version of her, read her in her Ironheart solo run. So it's written a lot better.
Eve Ewing actually do her origin properly. Bendis is kind of like, here's a thing. You know? It's like, this is definitely written by White.
Yeah, and then like he's always supposed to be coming in, and it's like, well, before everything happened, I assume back later May and in July when comics come back, we will get Eve's run on the Champions, which I think she's like right now, I think she's trying to push Miles, Kamala, and Riri.
See, now this is my question, right? We got Miss Marvel coming. We've got Ironheart coming. We know this. If Ironheart's going to start in, I think, January, like it's being said to, is a different question entirely, because I doubt it.
Yeah.
I imagine that's when they wanted to start it, sure. Are we going to get Miles?
It's really
up the
in the air.
At the minute, right, we clearly have the Young Avengers happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, we know those characters are coming from the shows whenever they drop at some point. We clearly have 2/3 of the Champions Trinity going on. The main three, the Champions. So what is going on, Miles? Did we just skip over Miles completely and have Nova take his spot? Because Sony
right now, I really don't know. It really depends if they want that synergy, because for people who want to go back and read original Champions run, or how did it all start with who had that kind of quote unquote.
It started off with Mark Waid.
Yeah, with Wade's run on the Avengers, where some of the original Avengers wanted to bring in something, the next generation, and Marvel was propping up Miles, Kamala, and Sam as the new generation, and they wanted to focus on their friendship. And it's just really weird because from no one's kept up with Champions or the Avengers. Once from Zub's run on Champions, he kind of sidelined Sam and then kind of replaced him with Riri, because with the whole thing about for whatever reason Riri doesn't really like the team so much, but she's cool with Miles. It's just like because he doesn't intrude on her personal business as much, and then it becomes solidified with Eve's run where Miles co-starred, and then there's that friendship thing where she kind of got mad at him for saying like, you said you wouldn't leave the team, and I believed you. Because you're my friend.
And that's the thing, like, about reading Champions is you realize that it's all about that dynamic and the team composition and stuff. And that's clearly what they're setting up, right? Like, it has to be some sort of formation of that. And like you said, Miles, I think, is an important part of that. But what happens, because Miles clearly is still quite a ways off unless Sony wants to rush that.
Yeah.
Are they going to let
is he, though? Because
Marvel
we've had the
do it?
5-year time jump.
That's true.
That's the thing is like, where would they go ahead with Miles because they have the 5 years where they could have just said, Uncle Aaron and Miles, didn't get snapped and they're able to age. So currently they're at the ages they need to be.
Yeah.
It's they don't completely one-to-one translate the comics, as we've seen. People have said like, how do you do Champions without Miles? It's like, well, we did the Avengers without Ant-Man and Wasp.
I know. That's the weird thing though. Is like, do they want the synergy because they can't just completely change the roster because?
But they have that. They didn't have synergy with the Avengers.
I mean on the comics roster, because
that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't have synergy with the Avengers when that happened. Like, it wasn't the original and it wasn't like anything else. It was completely different lines that we've had before.
Because from what I've read is like most of the time people just read it for the big three, and whenever they didn't have the big three in the Champions, it kind of tanked, and that's why multiple runs of the Champions keep on getting rebooted, but they usually have at least two of the big three in there with someone else to replace one of the characters.
Because I would have assumed if you're going to do a Champions, you have the core three. It's like doing Avengers without Iron Man, Cap, and Thor. But do they, because of Sony, do they see Miles as more like an Ant-Man and Wasp situation where it's like we can't use him anyway, and we don't necessarily need him in there, so let's do.
It just really depends on how much they want to push, because like they also have the only thing we have to go on is what Feige said about Miles, is that he is integral, but they want to get Peter correct first before they go forward with that deal. But it also depends on what Sony wants, and so far from what we've seen from Into the Spider-Verse is that he makes money.
Yeah.
Does he though? I like that movie. Did that movie make much money?
I mean, it caused them to make a sequel, and from
in fairness, yes, he has got a sequel.
Yeah, and then from like the toy sales and his comic sales, he makes money.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you go to a comic convention, if you go buy artist tables, almost every single one has something Miles, and there's always custom Miles covers being made. Like, he does move merchandise, which is
like, I think like one of the top, or like probably like top 5 Spider-Man cosplays is Miles.
Yep.
Ghost Spider, Peter, Spider-Punk, and one other one.
Yeah,
this is another question. We have to sort the naming convention out.
Yeah, legit.
we can't have 2 Spider-Men in the MCU.
Don't worry, they'll go back to Spidey.
No, we ain't. No. We ain't doing Ghost Spider either. I refuse. No.
See, I like Ghost
I will break
Spider.
quarantine to go and actually protest.
And the funny thing about Ghost Spider isn't really that original when Peter had that name.
Yeah.
So when he became Ghost Spider?
Peter had Spidey as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a lot of them.
Here's the thing, though. If they want to do Miles, and maybe they can reach some sort of agreement, if he's, let's say, a couple years off, like Ironheart and Champions and all that, and he does appear, I mean, if you play your cards right, within the same fiscal year, you can have Spider-Verse 2, Miles Morales in the MCU, and Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Miles Morales as a big character in that game. Like, they could literally make Miles Morales just a billion-dollar franchise in a few facets. Like, that's pretty, it seems like a good approach, and would kind of work, I think, in their favor. So, I mean...
But isn't Spider-Verse 2 2022, or is it 23?
Well, I mean, wouldn't Ironheart also come 2022, if they're shooting 2021? I assume they're not. You said, I think they're not shooting January because it's probably a little later. And even if they are, it's like maybe end of 2020. But or 2021.
Currently, it's still 2022.
Yeah.
For Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Still, I thought they moved it from that. Did they move it from 2021 to 22, or is
they moved it from 2021 to 2022?
Okay.
That's why, because I remember when it first came out, it said 2021, and then when everything happened, they said it's 2022.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, here's what's good: like 2021 would make the 10-year anniversary of Miles since he showed up. Yeah. So the next year, you make it an even bigger deal, being like, look, a decade behind. Look how far this character's come. It's like,
when's Spider-Man 3 coming out? It's 21, isn't it? End of 21.
Yeah, November.
That's the date they want. I know it's like November, isn't it, or something like that. So, I mean, maybe you put Miles in there?
Into the multiverse? Oh, bro. That'd be amazing.
I mean, they could, if they wanted to, make it like the end of Fallout 4. Have him be in that cutout Spider-Man costume.
I know exactly what you meant by Fallout 4. I just couldn't help but think of the game. And I was like, what happened in Fallout 4?
That's why people get confused if you're not following his what's he Fallout 4?
I was like, are we going to nuclear winter this?
I mean, technically, the Ultimate Universe got a nuclear winter.
I mean, in fairness, it did. Yeah, it did. But back to Riri, because bless her little cuttings, it kind of made this a Miles conversation.
Miles champions, it all connects. It's all good.
I mean, a lot of them are, yeah. It's just I just want them to go from Eve's run mostly, then Bendis.
I think they will.
Yeah. Kevin Feige will take one look at it and be like, so, let me just put this on the side and redo this.
So is this the same Bendis that was on the Creator Circle before? Cool, yeah, done.
Yeah, because I think that's what people kind of hated her in the beginning because of how she.
I mean, people hated her in the beginning for.
Well, I mean, that's what I think personally because of one interaction where you first see her as a little kid, where she's in school and the teacher is basically telling the whole class, even the girls, you can be anything you want to be. And I don't know why Bendis did this, but he makes Riri say, "So you're telling me I can't do this?" And the teacher goes, "No. I'm saying you can do anything, but I can't achieve if there's no hardship or anything.
No.
So someone has to tell me I can't do something, or there's nothing for me to put in the effort to do it."
And this is why Bendis got the boot.
The problem with Bendis is Bendis speak.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like it was like I think it was supposed to be like some kind of haha funny moment because the teacher gets mad and goes, "Fine, you can't do it," and then Riri goes, "You'll see," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that's Bendis. He's got lost and confused in his own dialogue again because there's so much of it, and it's just like, you know what? I'm going to end it off on this because this makes sense in my head, and it's like it doesn't, Bendis. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
just stop. Go leave and write for Superman now. No, go make Nuclear Man canon and kill him off instantly or something.
Go do it, Bendis. Do it. So thank you for taking the time to watch that video. If you guys would like more content that we offer here for channel members, which you guys can check out in the little join button down below, we do offer additional content, such as exclusive podcasts and topic discussions, our gaming podcast, Star Wars TV series reviews, Marvel show reviews, DC Universe and CW reviews. We offer personal vlogs, backlog reviews of TV shows and movies, video game topics and Q&As, and of course, in one of our best tiers, we offer audio commentaries on TV shows and movies, along with a bunch of other stuff you guys can check out just by clicking that join button and seeing what is on offer.